I didn't know about this until quite recently. We have not even mentioned it at all on here. Soulja Boy has been accused of rape in a civil lawsuit by an anonymous woman, and she is now demanding almost $75 million in damages. The Crank That rapper is currently at the center of a civil trial over the allegations, which include claims of kidnapping and rape by a woman who says she was previously employed as his personal assistant. Yikes. The plaintiff's attorney, Ron Zambrano, said during closing arguments this week that his client deserves to be awarded $73.6 million over the alleged trauma that she endured, according to Courthouse News. He raped her, he punched her, he kicked her, he cut her, he pointed a Draco gun at her, he locked her in her room, he told her, "I hope you die slow," Zambrano told the jury. It's crazy if true. He added, "If you don't believe my client, don't give her $1. But if you do believe her, give her everything." What's the logic there? Zambrano also criticized Soulja Boy's attire while attending court. It was an act, a 4-week act with glasses and a suit. The act you're being asked to buy, unfortunately, my client did buy it. It's why she went back. I ask that you don't fall for the man sitting over there with fake glasses on trying to convince you he's incapable of the bruises you've seen, the cuts you've seen, the text messages he sent. I didn't know he was facing this. I don't know how, under wraps this was. So he's been wrapped up in... See, I didn't know my Soulja Boy news. I've been lacking on my Soulja Boy news because a jury in 2023 said Soulja Boy owes a woman $472,000 for civil assault and kidnapping claims. Say what? Another jury will hear closing arguments today in a lawsuit from a woman who testified about similar abuse. So this isn't even the first. These are two separate cases. Soulja Boy, true name DeAndre Cortez Way, walking into court. Smiling and shit. He seems to not be worried about this, but I guess that's the glasses and suit that the other lawyer pointed out as being an act. Soulja Boy's own lawyer, Ricky Ivy, hit back at the woman's sizable demand for damages by telling XXL her claim for damages is grossly exaggerated and unfounded, just as her allegations are unfounded and unsubstantiated. The lawsuit was initially filed in 2021 and accuses Soulja Boy of sexually and physically abusing a woman who had been in his employment since 2018. So it's not just some random person, this is someone who he employed, and this was filed 4 years ago. So that's telling me this person is scorned. Been going at it for so long. I don't know. It seems like that person might actually have a reason to keep this up. I mean, obviously $75 million. They're asking for a lot of money, so maybe the reason is money, but I don't know. I can't believe this is the first I'm hearing about this. How did Soulja Boy manage to keep this under wraps like this? Maybe I'm just living under a rock. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Did you know about the Soulja Boy allegations for the last 4 years? I didn't hear anybody talking about these. The lawsuit alleged on one occasion Soulja Boy punched plaintiff so hard in the head she lost consciousness, only to wake up in a locked bedroom with no mattress, food, or water. Okay, yeah, kidnapping. What? On another occasion when plaintiff tried to quit and leave, Soulja Boy, he locked her in a room for approximately 3 days against her will with no hot water until she was coerced into not leaving. Well, if you're kidnapped and locked in a room, why would they have to coerce you to not leave? They've trapped you into not leaving. I don't know. I don't get was she able to leave or not? 3 days against her will with no hot water. So essentially just without being able to shower. I don't know. These are weird details. It's kind of painting a weird, I don't know what's going on here. The trial has been ongoing for almost a month with text messages between the pair shown in court. One message allegedly sent by Soulja Boy to the woman read, "I hope you die slow." Another message purportedly from the Turn My Swag On rapper. Interjecting his song titles into these serious allegations is so fucking funny, especially when the song titles are so stupid. Throwing in the Turn My Swag On while he's texting, "I should have killed your ass." What a juxtaposition there. Another message purportedly from the Turn My Swag On rapper said, "I hope you catch corona." What? Is this just how they flirt? I'm getting the sense that this is just how they flirt. While another read, "I should have killed your ass." A jury will now decide the outcome. This is just weird. I need way more details. I need the evidence that the jury got. This is mind-boggling. What the fuck is going on? Let me see if I have more. I need to find out more here. Courthouse News Service. I don't know. That seems official, right? Look at him on this fucking Cybertruck. God, it's ugly ass car. Although this one seems more souped up than ones that I've seen. It's got trim going on there. I don't know. Foundation? Is this the Foundation model? I don't know. It looks more like a transformer. Still pretty gaudy and ridiculous. So this was 2 days ago. In closing arguments on Monday in the civil trial between rapper Soulja Boy and a woman who says she was beaten, raped, and imprisoned while employed as the rapper's personal assistant for more than a year, attorneys for the woman asked the jury to award the plaintiff $73.6 million. Okay, if she was kidnapped for an entire year, beaten and held as a sex slave for an entire year, like they're claiming, then yeah, sure, she'd get $73 million. But, I mean, what, are we supposed to believe that Soulja Boy held her against her will, like hostage style, like fucking Gone Girl? Like, I don't know. He raped her, he punched her, he kicked her, he cut her, so, you know, he did everything, like, awful, basically, that he could possibly do as a man in power. The plaintiff, who was asked to remain nameless throughout the trial, says she wasn't paid while employed beginning in 2018 by the rapper, during which time she claims she was raped and beaten numerous times and subjected to various acts of emotional abuse. At times, she testified through the trial, she was locked inside her room without food for as long as 2 days. Do I get more details on that? Is this a different? Yeah, this is different. A woman suing Soulja Boy for sexual assault gave harrowing testimony on Wednesday about months of abuse at the hands of the rapper, including physical violence, rape, and forced imprisonment. I wanted to die, the woman said, sobbing. I didn't want to be there anymore. I just wanted to go home. So she is anonymous throughout this whole trial, but she did testify, to the jury. So, this is a real person, and she was sobbing, recounting the story. The 36-year-old woman who filed her complaint under the alias Jane Doe testified that she had worked for many years on the lower rung of the hip-hop recording industry. She had been assistant at Young Money Entertainment, a record label founded by Lil Wayne. She later worked as an assistant for another well-known rapper, an employment which ended abruptly after the rapper started having sex with her while she was asleep. Okay, unrelated. She told the jury. Another unrelated rape. She then went to work for Molly Mall, a record producer whom she was also living with. Then, in 2018, she met DeAndre Cortez Way. The stars aligned and I met Soulja Boy, the one-hit wonder himself. He is like the ultimate one-hit wonder. He's such a one-hit wonder that he actually ended up becoming famous long-term. Kind of wild, his story. But we're not here to glaze right now. We're here to shame Soulja Boy. No, we're here to get to the truth, in all honesty. So yeah, in 2018, she met Soulja Boy. Famous for Crank That. 2007, coming up on 20 years ago. The plaintiff said she was driven to Way's house and offered a job on the spot as his assistant. The job, which she said consisted mostly of cleaning the house and rolling blunts, hollowed out cigars filled with marijuana. Lawyers. Paid just $500 a week, but also came with room and board. She also accepted, but was unimpressed with the accommodations. Though Way lived in a large house high in the canyon, she said her room was spare with nothing but an air mattress. It wasn't as fancy as the other places I'd stayed before, she testified, nor was she especially starstruck by Way. He looked very fragile, very skinny. Why is she going after me? Like, you're already suing him for $75 million. I don't know. I was about to say it's not helping your case. In my opinion, it's just not helping your air of bias, but whatever. He didn't look healthy. I wanted to help him. I didn't want him to die. She thought he was gonna die because he looked so bad. Maybe she's right and he was like skin and bone. Like Christian Bale in the fucking Mechanist or whatever. I haven't seen the movie, but I know the reference. The next morning, the woman said she was not allowed to leave, not to get her clothes and belongings, and not allowed to go to a store to buy a toothbrush or feminine products. So wait, was he on the verge of death, or was he like physically stopping you from leaving? Like in the same breath, she's saying that he's so fragile and skinny that she thinks he's gonna die, but he's also forcing her, I can only assume physically forcing her to not leave the house, or at least threatening. How would she not be allowed to leave? I don't know, unless I'm missing something. Not allowed to go to the store to buy a toothbrush? All of a sudden he's like fucking fascist concentration camp, military style. About once a week she said she would try to leave, but Way or his retinue always told her that she couldn't. So okay, yeah, I guess he's got bodyguards, sure. She didn't have a car and her phone went missing, as did her driver's license, though she said Way later revealed that he had taken it. He said, "Bitch, I have your license," the plaintiff said. Actually, not funny. Not funny. Way, she said, would routinely insult her in the corset of language, calling her a stupid dumb bee, ugly bumpy-faced bee, and R-slur. She also said he would mistreat her in front of his friends, who were a constant presence at his house, and they would laugh. Not exactly a crime, but definitely horrible. He would also reportedly regularly menace her with his Draco pistol or Romanian semi-automatic weapon similar to an AK-47. Soulja Boy used to point a gun at me, the plaintiff testified. I felt like he was willing to pull it if I did something wrong. She also said that Way had threatened at least once to send shooters to my mom's house. Sounds like a bar. Sending shooters to your mom's house. Physical violence too became part of the routine. He would hit me, the woman said. Most of the time it was on my chest area, my arms, my ribs. Sometimes if he was very mad, he would hit me in the face. According to her testimony, Way would also rape her about once every 2 weeks. That's oddly like on schedule. You know, like once every 2 weeks. So I don't know. This is just written weird. All right, I guess these are her responses. These are her direct responses to these exact questions. He usually had a group of people at the house. Plaintiff said if there was no woman around at night, he would grab me. He would call me to come do something. He would just pull my pants down and start having sex with me. A lot of similarities between these accusations and Lauren Pisciotta accusations against Kanye, which we have gone all up and down and left and right about. But there is one big difference. Those ones, in my opinion, the Lauren Pisciotta accusations, they feel like substantial, just based off what I was reading. Now, I'm not saying this person is lying. This could very much well be true. I'm just telling you how it reads. It just feels very thin. It's just missing a lot of details, a lot of facts. It's missing a lot of facts. These, if they're lies, they're really bad lies because it's not adding up. You know, I got what I'm working with online. I'm not going to find evidence for the Soulja Boy rape case. Unfortunately. I wish I could. But I don't know what's going on here. This is a weird one for sure. It almost feels like I need both sides of the story for sure because then it'll actually paint a clearer picture. Not saying that there's any excuse for, like, there's nothing that Soulja Boy could say that I'm like, oh, well, you know, like, she did deserve that punch. I'm just saying a lot of these accusations seem very extreme with little gravity given to each individual accusation. But like I said, what the fuck do I know? Maybe he did rape her every other week or so. Even though she was his prisoner, the plaintiff said she was barely fed. Before she started working for Way, she said she weighed about 150 pounds. I was about 86 pounds when I managed to get away from him, she said, crying. I didn't even feel human anymore. I felt like an animal. So, I mean, if these accusations are true, Soulja Boy is like R. Kelly levels of demented and manipulative. I guess I just am having a hard time imagining Soulja Boy being that manipulative, but fuck, man, like, people are nuts, so maybe he is. A few months later, Way went to jail for violating the terms of his probation stemming from a 2014 gun charge. Surprisingly, she said his attitude toward the plaintiff began to change. He began to call her every day from jail. He was apologetic, the plaintiff said. He said, "My bad, I'm not gonna do that anymore. You're good." He even told her that he loved her. When he was released from jail after a few months, the two moved in together. First into a hotel in Hollywood, then into a house in a gated community in Bell Canyon. They shared a bed and had consensual sex, she said. But after a while, his old behavior returned, the plaintiff testified, adding that one night, he saw a comment left on one of her photographs on social media and became enraged with jealousy. She was sleeping, she said, when he picked her up and body slammed her on the ground. He started being mean to me again, yelling, telling me how ugly I was, the plaintiff testified. I would beg for him to stop. He didn't care anymore. Why didn't you leave then? Her attorney, Ron Zambrano of West Coast Trial Lawyers, asked her. I don't know, she said. I just didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was embarrassed to tell anybody. I lost my apartment. I didn't have any money. He was refusing to pay me. I didn't really have options. Damn, yeah. Man. It sounds like he is like extremely manipulative. I'm kind of taking back what I was saying just 5 minutes ago now. Her details felt thin and whatnot, but I think he's just very manipulative. And I don't know if maybe she's also a little naive or something, but she kind of just walked into this trap and wasn't able to walk out for whatever reason. She was scared, embarrassed. The plaintiff is set to retake the stand on Thursday. Zambrano has said that after she testifies, he will call Way as a hostile witness. Trial began last Thursday with Way's defense claiming the rapper had never employed the plaintiff and their romantic relationship had been tumultuous but not abusive. The case is not the rapper's first brush with the law over domestic violence. In 2019, an ex-girlfriend named Kayla Myers sued Way for domestic violence and kidnapping. Among other things, she said he kicked her, stomped her on her stomach, and bashed her head with a large gun. In 2021, a jury ruled in favor of Myers and ordered Way to pay her $471,800. In the current lawsuit, Jane Doe is suing Way for sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and a range of labor violations, including hostile work environment, constructive discharge, and failure to pay minimum wage. Wow, dude. So, 2 cases. The odds are actually stacking up very much so against young Draco here, aka Soulja Boy. This man might get fucked, at the very least financially. The fact that there's a whole other case that he was already found guilty of similar accusations just in 2019, and then he gets out, or, you know, he pays his way out of that one in a way, and then continues on a year later to do it to somebody else. It's hard to judge the situation just on a victim's responses. I kind of at this point have a feeling she's probably telling the truth about all this crazy shit. And Soulja Boy, he might actually just be fucking nuts. He might be nuts. I don't know if that's a shock to many people. Probably not. I guess it's not that much of a shock to me. But it is always kind of interesting to learn that some rich and famous people are actually psychotic, right? It's like hard to wrap your brain around, like, how could you have all of that and be willing to risk it for nothing?
Since filming this video, Soulja Boy has been ordered by the judge to pay the Jane Doe victim $4.25 million. And while Soulja Boy maintained his innocence throughout the trial, the jury found him guilty of sexual battery, assault, and gender violence.